to the immigrants and refugees, their families and loved ones that share this community. I want to make it clear that I am committed, both in my personal capacity and in my capacity as your representative, to do absolutely everything that is in my power to protect every single member of this community from the destructive, racist, xenophobic, Islamophobic policies and actions of the Trump administration. If you march, I will march with you. If you protest, I will protest with you. If you need sanctuary, I will shelter you. I will stand behind you, and I will not back down wherever the next few months or years take us. And there are many others here today and here in this city who will stand with you as well. We are ready for a fight. City Council has, on several occasions in the last 2 years, reiterated our commitment to a diverse and inclusive community. In October of 2015, we unanimously passed a resolution supporting the resettling of Syrian refugees here in Durham. In February of last year, we unanimously endorsed a resolution urging federal officials to release Wilden Acosta, a Durham youth who is being detained in immigration facilities, and to suspend all raids targeting immigrant youth. We passed a unanimous resolution opposing the discriminatory and anti-LGBTQ House Bill 2 and calling for its repeal, which allows undocumented and other immigrants to obtain identification that can be used to help them access resources. And finally, in November of last year, following the election of Donald Trump, we passed a resolution condemning hate speech, racism, and Islamophobia, and issued an open letter to the community in which we write, the Durham City Council, 1, condemns all hate speech and violent action directed at Muslims as a tactic to influence voters or inflame hostilities. 3, commits to pursuing a policy agenda that affirms civil and human rights and ensures that those targeted on the basis of race, religion, or immigration status can turn to the government without fear of recrimination. 4, reaffirms the value of a pluralistic society, the beauty of a culture composed of multiple cultures. And 5, pledges to work to make Durham a city that reflects those values in word and in deed. I believe that it is an act of violence to deport young people who were brought here by their parents as children. It is an act of violence to separate parents and children, spouses and partners from the connections that form their lives. It is an act of violence to lock up children with their parents on the border, sometimes for years, without access to proper care. People who pose no threat to our communities. It is unconscionable for us to turn our backs on people who are fleeing violence and oppression rather than welcoming them as neighbors. We are a nation of immigrants, and immigration has built this country, but we are also a nation built on stolen land with stolen labor. We are a country that has dropped bombs on the residents of nearly every nation we seek to ban from entering this country. We owe these people sanctuary, and we should turn no one away. I'm going to quote a poem by Warsan Shire, who's a Somali-born British poet. This poem was inspired by the war and refugee crisis in Syria, and it's titled Home. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. You have to understand that no one puts their children on a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains, beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled means something more than the journey. It is my belief that migration is our birthright as human beings. We have an inalienable right to travel this earth without fear, to build and create with each other, to build families and lives of purpose and happiness without the limitations of borders and walls. I recently watched an interview with Linda Sarsour, who is a Palestinian-American activist, who is a lead organizer of the Women's March in Washington and has recently been targeted by Islamophobic hatred online, speaking about radical love. And she spoke about the role of love in our movement. And she says, we can't be done because our love for our people is not done. My love for my people is never going to end until the day that I'm not on this earth anymore. So it is in that spirit of radical love for all of our people that I'm calling us to action. It is time for us to fight like our lives depend on it, because they do. Are we ready to fight?
Yes!
Are we ready to win?
Yes!
Thank you for being here.
When our friends and neighbors are under attack. Friends and neighbors are under attack.
Stand.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our friends and neighbors are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our friends and neighbors are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Thank you all for being here. Take it away with music and just be here, y'all, for a little bit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone who came and shared their story today. And turning this around, thank you so much for everyone who is showing what kind of integrity we want to have within our communities and what kind of demands we have for our communities. Thank you.